Alright, hi, I'm Catherine Cool, and this is my Do Something and Report It project for BBE 2201. What I did is I went to the Hennepin County Library and I got one of these watt meters. Looks like this. You basically just plug it into the wall, and then whatever device or appliance or anything that you want to measure the electrical usage, you just plug it into it and it'll give you the reading in watts. So I measured a few things around my apartment here. Uh, I plugged my computer charger into the wall for my laptop, and I plugged the laptop in and just left it closed. I wasn't doing anything on it. And it really didn't register a whole lot of watts at all. Um, and the computer charger by itself, when it wasn't plugged into anything, uh, registered just at 0. So I do think that was interesting because with everything that we learned about phantom power, um, I did expect it to register more because I've been assuming that, so I've been like unplugging my charger and everything even when it's not plugged into my computer just to save money. Now I know that that's not totally necessary. It probably does pull some power, but just not enough to register on the watt meter. Um, As far as the calculations that I'm going to do for the cost, like monthly or yearly or whatever, for some of the things that I registered, I'm going to use 7 cents per kilowatt because, according to my last electricity bill that I got, that was about the average price per kilowatt. Um, so I do have a PlayStation 3, which is like a video game system. And mostly, I don't really use it for the video games. I usually use it for Netflix and watching DVDs and whatnot. Um, I did measure the watt usage for when it was running Netflix and just watching a show, not doing anything else, but it was plugged in and running Netflix. And it measured about 64 watts, so 0.064 kilowatts. Um, Originally, I expected it to register more than that. Just because it seems like video game systems usually take a lot of power just from the sounds they make and how much they heat up most of the time. When I calculated it, let's say you're using it 15 hours a week to watch Netflix, and if you do that all 52 weeks of the year, that only comes out to about $3.23 per year. So this, again, surprised me just because that's such a small amount for using video game system that often to watch movies or TV shows or anything. Um, so I, and when it's plugged in and turned off, it really doesn't use that much power either, only about half of a watt. Um, so it is good to unplug it and everything when you're not using it, but it's not so much that it's gonna add up to like a lot of money really quickly if you forget it to unplug it every once in a while. Um, Another thing that I measured my hair dryer when it was set to the highest heat setting, but the lower of the power settings. Um, that definitely registered the most amount of electricity usage of any of the things that I measured. It was about 1,117 watts, so 1.117 kilowatts. And I say if you use that about 2 hours per week, every week of the year, that comes out to about $7.51. So that's not bad at all either. But let's say for that, or like a hair straightener or something, if you just left it on all the time, like if you forgot about it or whatever, or you're just using it all the time, every day of the year, that comes out to about $684, which is an absurd amount of money. So definitely something that you don't want to use um, all the time and just leave it on. You don't want to do that. Um, so that's definitely one way that you can save yourself some money is cutting back on the usage of like um, hair dryers and straighteners if you use them at all. Um, it's definitely a way to save yourself some money. Um, One of the small appliances that I have a little Keurig coffee maker. Um, when it's just plugged in, whether it's turned on or off. It both times it measures about a watt, so that will also it'll add up quicker, but still not incredibly quickly as far as cost goes. However, when it is brewing the coffee or whatever you're making, since it has to heat up the water and it does work so quickly, it uses far more electricity than it does at any other time. It averaged about 950 watts when it was actually brewing and heating the water. And so if you're using your Keurig, let's say 5 hours a week, 52 weeks of the year, that comes out to about $17, just over it actually. And so I guess, I mean, that's money, but it's not, again, it's not some very absurd amount or anything like the hair dryer or anything. However, if you were to just be brewing like 24 hours of the day, every day, that comes out to about $582. So that's similar to the hair dryer. So again, a way to cut back on your costs is to cut back on your use of the Keurig when you're brewing things. Finally, I have a lamp that has one of the three-way bulbs, so it has 3 different brightness settings. When I measured that, at the highest brightness, it measured about 138.5 watts. And I know some people just leave their lamps on all the time, 24 hours a day, every day of the year. And while I don't personally do that, it definitely adds up pretty quickly. With the cost at that many watts, and it equals 0.1385 kilowatts, and so at 7 cents a kilowatt, that's about $85 a year if you're just leave it on all the time. And that's definitely more money than I would ever want to spend on a single lamp. So usually what I do is I leave my blinds open a lot more, and I just use the natural light and only use lamps when, like, at night when I really need them, and I'll use them on the lowest setting possible. Overall, I really enjoyed doing this project because I did learn quite a bit from it, and I learned a few ways that I can cut back on my electricity usage and save myself some money every month. So it's definitely a good thing. So thank you.